Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about lesson plans. So I am a senior cadet, and it's for all my senior cadets out there or the first time doing a lesson plan. It's really important that we learn about how to do lesson plans. I know that in phase 4 in my core anyways, we learn about how to do lesson plans, and unfortunately I didn't get to learn about how to properly do it from my core anyways. I learned in my drill and ceremonial instructor year, but because of COVID it got cut off and I never actually got to learn how to. But I do know how to teach a lesson, and I do know how to write down a lesson. So it's important that you have a piece of paper if you're doing it in person. So we'll talk about in person first, I guess. So in person, if you're doing a tying knots, bends, and hitches, I'm a sea cadet, so that's what we'd be doing. So if you want to learn about that, you want to make sure that you let your officers know that you are going to be teaching about tying knots, bends, and hitches, and that you're going to need rope and probably something to tie it to, so that you have your resources down right off the bat. As soon as you know what you're teaching, you want to make sure that you know exactly what you need for that lesson. So the first thing that's going to end up happening for you anyways is you're going to get told what lesson you're going to be teaching. You're going to be given a number. So let's say you're given EOM 121.01, and that is tying knots, bends, and hitches. So you basically are going to want to find the IG, so you can just look it up online. You can just type in exactly that number, and you will find, or you should find, the exact IG for that class and for the phase that you're teaching. So you're going to look up, it's a PDF usually, so you're going to see the title, Tying Knots, Bends, and Hitches. It'll tell you everything that you're going to need for the lesson, and then you're going to want to get a piece of paper, like so, and then you're just going to want to, make it fun. Get some markers, get some pens. I dropped my pen. Get some pens, get some colored pencils. Make it interesting for you to be able to read. It's not necessarily that the cadets are going to be reading it, but you want to make sure that you're able to read everything off that page and make it fun for yourself as well. So you're just going to write down your rank, your name, the title of it, because you are going to be evaluated on these. Usually you're evaluated on them, so you're going to want to be able to show what you wrote down. And then, so your name, your rank, the title of it, also with that number, or that letter number combo, like EO and 121.1.01 or 0.1. Anyways, but you're going to write that down. You're going to put the date that the lesson's going to be taught on, where it's going to be taught. So let's say you're teaching in a school and you're in classroom 103. You're going to want to write that down. And then you're going to write the resources that you're going to need or that you're going to have. So you're going to have rope, something to tie it to, so that could be like a hockey stick or something. Anyways, but you're going to want to have multiple rope, hockey sticks. You're going to need chairs. So just writing down things that you're going to need. And then from there, you're going to go down into the bulk of the lesson, the beginning of the lesson, the introduction. You're going to write down some of that information. Don't write it like, you don't want to copy and paste it into there, you know what I mean? You want to actually like write it in your own words, just so that it's not super boring for you to read and super boring for them to listen to. So you want to make it a little bit more interesting and use your own words. So then you're going to write down your intro of, just some key points of that intro, and then you're going to get into the bulk of it. So let's say you are going to be tying a reef knot. You're going to want to write down, so if you're tying reef knot, a bowline, and what else? I don't know. Just other things, like especially like your hitches. Like those are different types of knots, I guess. I do know how to tie knots, just not very well. But anyways, so you're going to want to write down how to tie it step by step for each one. So tying knots and doing that class is quite a bit of paperwork or writing down that you're going to have to do, because it is every knot you're going to have to explain how to do it so that you know how to explain it to them properly. So that's one of those things where you're going to want to write it like verbatim, I guess. You're going to want to write it word for word there for how to do it. Having pictures is good, so if you're doing like a slideshow along with that in-person talk, you're definitely going to want to have pictures of how to do it, and then you're going to want to explain it, like give them the rope and explain how to tie it. So that's how you, each one, you'd stop, let them tie it, come back. And then at the end, you might want to do like a quiz to wrap it up, like, can you do, the reef knot, or can you do the bowline, or whatever, so just have a quiz for them to do, and them always have the piece of rope in their hand to be tying knots with you. And then your conclusion, just kind of wrapping up everything that you did, kind of a little bit of a recap, making sure that they understood what you were talking about the whole time. And then that's all going to be on your piece of paper, or your pieces of paper that you're going to have written down. And then that's your lesson. That's everything. But the most important thing is keeping them engaged and making sure that they're listening to what you're saying. So in person, or not in person, online, on Zoom, on whatever, is totally different from in person. You can use resources, and you have to use resources like slideshow, or if you're just talking, but using slideshow and things like that to show what you're talking about, just so that they understand a little bit better. So Zoom is good for that you can actually write down what you need to, or you can actually put it in and they can watch the PowerPoint. You just don't get them as engaged as much as you would if you were in person. So online, I found a couple different things that you can use for doing videos, doing slideshows, doing presentations. You can use Pear Deck, which is an extension to Google Slides, and it makes it so that if you put down a question in your Google Slide and they have the code, they can type in their comments. That helps for the quiet kids. I notice my group is very quiet, so we use that quite a bit, just so that I know that they're interacting and that they're engaged in what I'm talking about. So if I ask a question, how do you tie a certain knot? They will tell me how I tie it. So basically, if you're doing a slideshow, it's the same as if you were writing it down on paper. The first slide would be, your name, the name of the lesson, and then that number. And then the next slideshow would be your introduction, and then the slideshows after that would be explaining each knot and how to tie it. And then the last few slideshows would be like you're wrapping up and then going maybe into a Kahoot, some questions, if they have any questions for you, and asking them, quizzing them on how to tie things and stuff like that. And then do like a Kahoot or another game like that, or like we call it Spaceman, but it's like Hangman. For cadets, just like use a word like how do you spell like Boland or whatever like that, using that. And then that's basically the slideshow, and trying to be interactive and using games and things like that to play is a lot better. And another thing you can do, you can pre-record a video on how to do things like that, and then they can answer questions. You can pause your video and then ask them questions and things like that. Like there are lots of different ways to do it over Zoom, but obviously everybody prefers in person because you're interacting with your kids, and you can be there, and you can, if they need help, you can go over and help them, socially distance and everything, but you can still help them as much as possible. So basically, if you need any help with doing lessons, obviously ask officers, ask other senior cadets. Everybody will want to help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you do need help, you can comment on this video as well. I do know a little bit about teaching lessons, and I know that it's not all writing it down from the book. It's obviously, you still got to be very write it down, because it's very boring if you just read it off word for word of the lesson. So yeah, if you need any help, type it in the comments, or ask your friends from cadets or your officers, because they are sure to help you. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much how to write a lesson plan, how to do a lesson plan. Teaching, obviously, you just need to be very vocal, you need to be engaging, and you need to be, you're not just talking like, oh, this, I'm not, you're emphasizing words, you're talking very, proper, you know how to talk. Talk to your parents if you're nervous, how to do it. Talk to them, teach them your lesson, talk to the wall. Just talking in general will help you get better at it. Talk to a friend, teach a friend. Anyways, but like I said, if you need help, type it in the comments. That is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully there will be more videos coming soon. I know that there will be one about horseback riding coming soon, or I'd had a lesson, my first lesson of the year, so that'll be the next video that'll be posted. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know it is kind of boring, but hey, it's something to watch, and it is something for me to post, and it is helpful because I definitely didn't have this when I was starting off as a senior. So thank you guys so much for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.